Hi guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be doing a review on what skeletons you should buy and why. Alright, so we're going to be discussing the Dollar Tree skeleton garland, the Michaels skeleton, and the scary skeleton garland off of the eBay and Amazon. Okay, so the first one up we're going to talk about is the Dollar Tree and why the Dollar Tree garland is a good find. Okay, the first thing is he's $1 and you literally get 4 of them for $1. I mean, come on now, you can't beat that. $1 for 4 skeletons. That's great. The pluses of this skeleton is he's got bendable legs, so you can kind of have him sit down, sort of. You have his little arms that get in the way, but that's okay. There's tutorials I can show you how to make that happen, to where it's not going to be a problem. And there are lots of them, or you can just kind of bend his arms a little bit if you're only going a little while. All right, or you can just stick him on a chair and arms won't matter. Okay. The bad part is he's got this little tiny attachment for string to go on, but you can also cut that off and then heat it up to where you don't even see it. And then there, that's gone. Okay, his arms do not bend. No way, no bend in them at all. His body will detach from his ribs. This is great if you just want a rib cage laying around with a body and stick the head over here somewhere, perhaps in a graveyard or whatever. And if you want to learn how to make a graveyard and tombstones and stuff like that, go check out my website. I've got free tutorials and free templates for it. All right, and then this little dude does not want to go back together for me. Oh well. Okay, so he does go back together. I've put him back together plenty of times. The other thing is his neck turns. Most of the ones from Dollar Tree, they have this little piece on the chin. I think it's where their seam goes together, and it really is annoying to me. So I just cut it off. All right, after I cut it off, I heat it back up. And then I take my scissors and I just kind of press it in to make it blend. All right, you can take a Sharpie. I'm gonna get his head, sorry I dropped it. You can take a Sharpie and you can just kind of dab at it a little bit there. Take a scrap piece of material and just kind of blend it in. Now you don't even know that it was ever there. So for $1, is it worth it? Absolutely. As far as the joints go, they're pretty straightforward for cutting. You can have extra bones laying around your graveyard or wherever for $1 because they cut so easily. I mean, it's just like scissors just go right through them. And then there you have it. And as far as the leftovers go, just trim them off, and then you can have the rib cage sitting somewhere else. Okay, and then there you go. All right, so now you've got a head, some bones, stick it maybe out of the ground like, ah, help, I'm buried, and I'm trying to come back. All right, something like that, whatever. But if you want to bend their arms and you don't want to break them apart, and you don't want all these extra body pieces. However, I also forgot to mention that the leg joints, as they do bend because they have these pieces, you can also pull them apart and then have just the spine and the hips sitting there. Okay, so they're really easy to break apart. All right, now here he is. He looks like he's nodding like, hey, yes. If you want to bend the joints, again, there's a tutorial on how to do it. I just heat up my joints and then I bend them whichever way I want, and then I let it cool. Okay, I'm going to actually bend this one back in shape. Okay, so he was bent with his arms going one way. I just kind of bent him back to his normal position. All right, so there he is. Now, what is the difference between him and the Michaels skeleton? All right, we've talked about everything this skeleton does, including the bending legs, or the part where he can sit like that. All right, this one does not have any bending in it at all in the legs. The hips are pretty much the same. The back joint here is a little bit thicker. The ribs are a little bit wider. Not by much though. I mean, you can kind of tell. Not a whole lot, but enough. If you see where I've taken the ribs off of this guy, you can clearly see it's not that much of a difference. All right, this guy's head's a little bigger than this guy's. His head does not turn at all. His arms don't rotate, but neither did his. However, his you can kind of bend a little bit. Even before I heated it up, you could bend it just enough. This one, if you bend it, he wants to snap because he's a different kind of material. Right? His back does not come separated from his ribs. There's no joining piece here at all. If you can see, there's nothing up there joining it. Okay, his head doesn't turn, but that's not an issue because as you can see with this guy, I've got his head turned. If you want to see how I did that and you want to see how I posed him, check out that tutorial. All right, now this guy does not stand up. The Dollar Tree guy does not stand up at all. I have to hold him. He falls over. All right. If I try to have him stand up by heating his feet and making him stand in a standing position, he still won't stand because his legs bend. However, you can tape his waist and put some clothes on him like I did my Grim Reapers, and you can get him to stand that way and then heat his feet. All right, so this guy, he does not stand up either. So they're about the same when it comes to the standing part. However, because he doesn't have the bendable legs right here with this joint, you can actually bend his feet after you heat them, and you can get him to stand up. Just like that. And there's a tutorial on how to do that, but basically I just heated his joints right here and here, and I stood him up. Now if you see the difference while I'm holding it, how far back he leans before I did that. But as you can see, they will stand if you do that technique. Now, that's the two skeletons and the differences between the two that I can see that's pretty like straightforward. Now, one thing I will mention, his bone right here for his chest bone is very skinny, and this guy's is thicker and more square. This to me looks a little bit more realistic than this here, but you know, that's just my personal opinion. All right, but now we're going to look at the Scary Pumpkin skeleton. He has all the same features as the Dollar Tree skeleton with the legs. The joints move. In fact, I'm pretty certain they made the same molds pretty much to do this. The back right here where the ribs are, it clips onto there the same as the skeleton did. This is a little bit skinnier than his ribs here. Then you have a pumpkin face versus the skeleton head. His head does not turn though, much like the other ones that I got from Michaels. But again, if you want that to turn, you can do the heating process like I did. His hands are pretty close to the same make as the Dollar Tree one, where the hands on the Michaels, they almost don't look real at all to me. Like there's like this solid flat piece in the center, where on the Dollar Tree and the scary pumpkin guy, they actually have little indents in there for each one of the fingers. So that's something to think about. But here is the backs of these two and the back of him. And if you notice, their joints are pretty much made exactly the same. But that's it. I mean, I just don't really see much difference other than him having a pumpkin face with him. He's pretty much exactly like this one with the exception of the head. But hopefully this will help you, and you'll be able to figure out what pumpkin or what skeleton and Mr. Bones dude you'd want to do for your graveyard or whatever. But I'm going to show you my graveyard real quick so you can kind of see it if you haven't already seen the video or the pictures. And I've got lots and lots of pictures in my Facebook album and lots of videos on my website under dollhousetutorials.com. So here it is. The tombstones and everything that you see here, there are tutorials for it on my website, dollhousetutorials.com, including a little scythe and how to dress your pumpkins and your skeletons. The tombstones as well. If you notice here, I've got a lot of my skeletons bent. They're all bent in different directions. So depending on which one you want, it really matters. And you know how I said extra bones? Well, there's lots and lots of extra bones just kind of hanging out there. And I got my wrapped up ones. This little guy, he's sitting inside the coffin. And he wants to fall over because he's one of the pumpkin guys that has the bendable legs. See how that's a problem? Even though he has all this stuff on here, he still wants to fall over. So I'm going to just kind of lean him against the building for now. Okay, so this dude here, I have him where he's sitting and then he has his knee bent. These guys, they're just kind of chilling out together. This guy's got a headache, I guess. Another one with a knee bent. This dude back here is just kind of leaning on his elbow. This guy looked like he had too much to drink. That guy back there, he's just kind of bent, sitting there. He looks like he's fallen over, had too much to drink as well. I don't know, maybe they're all drinking too much cola. And again, here we go. So remember how I said that you have the option with these guys to kind of break them apart or whatever? Well, here's a perfect example. You can't do that with the Michaels ones unless you physically cut it. This one here, you can kind of drill a hole and put it down in there, or you can cut it off either way, it's up to you, and kind of half bury them. So it's kind of cool to have that option. So you kind of got to really think about what you want to have and what you want to do as far as keeping them. But again, here is the pumpkin. I bent him all up as well. He's kind of sitting there, and the girls, they're just kind of chilling out in the graveyard. But anyway, if you want to get tutorials on how to do any of this stuff, dollhousetutorials.com has it. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, please feel free to leave them below. All right, thanks a lot. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.